welcome to the next 20 pages of our Turn to Lead. Shem here, if you haven't noticed already from the past videos. I just got done jamming out to some System of a Down. Whoo! That shit gets me pumped. But I am excited to do this part, probably because no one's home and it can be as loud as I want. So, going on to part 5 of our Turn to Lead. There's kind of more storytelling in this version, or in this part, once again. There's a lot of storytelling in this book, I'm not going to lie with you. However, it does segment it into smaller parts, which is nice. Sorry, you probably see my eyes going over there, and that's because my cat is playing with light bulbs, and that is probably not safe, but she can handle herself. She's old enough. Alright, so let's get into this. So, we have the Millennials, the leaders, and the institutions, once again. And there's going to be sub-points in each category, in each point, I should say. First one being, for the Millennials, we have Ashley Fitzgerald. So in 2015, her story is, she's pretty much a marketing manager in China for North Lake Foods. And while she's out there, she does bank with the Bank of North America. And every time she's banking out there, she keeps getting charged fees every time. And it just slowly starts pissing her off because she literally gets feed after every single transaction she does. And it's just pissing her off. And whenever she was out in China, she had a meeting, a teleportal conference meeting. Excuse me. And this is for North Lake Foods. And this teleportal thing is kind of like a Skype chat, but with like various people at once. And she had a conference meeting with the customers of Lake Foods from like around the world. And she pretty much, after the meeting, after the whole conference, she kind of realized and recapped afterwards, like, the bank that she's banking for, the Bank of North America, is too big to care about their clients. As I mentioned in a few episodes ago, there was Ryan Kearney's, I think, dad that pointed out, like, hey, if you're going to find a bank, make sure to find a bank that is small enough to care about you and help you out, but big enough that pretty much everyone knows and that they're reputable in a sense. So there's that. Now going on to the second sub-point of the Millennials, we have Justin Moore. Justin Moore, he was at his parents' house saving money pretty much this whole time, and he's still in 2015 at his parents' house. However, the differentiating factor with Justin is he wasn't necessarily saving money, he was investing his money. I kind of like Justin's story because it kind of relates to my story in a sense. A few years ago, I started tampering around with the financial markets, and I started getting into the currency markets and trading the currency markets. And it turns out what he's been doing is like day trading is essentially what I used to do. He didn't believe in the whole giving your money to someone from the bank and just like hoping that they do their job. He likes to be managing his money and making sure he knows where his money is going to. So that was pretty cool, kind of related to me. He was pretty much at home just paying off his bills too. He had a lot of bills to pay, like car loans, school loans, credit card bills, and so on and so forth. So we got the third point, which is going to be Heather Moore. I should say the third sub-point, Heather Moore. So she is a lieutenant now in the U.S. Marine Corps. And in this little segment, there's like a little letter that she wrote out to her grandpa. And she was pretty much just telling her, like, I know that you wanted me to be in the U.S. Armed Forces, and here I am pretty much. And she was pretty much telling her grandpa, like, the stories of what she's done, like where she's traveled, the things she's done. And she did mention at the very end, too, she's investing her money with Lakeview Bank. And this is the bank that we mentioned earlier, which is the two institutions. We have Lakeview Bank and then the Bank of North America. But she also has mentioned that with her money going towards Lakeview Bank, someone's managing that money. And who that was Justin Moore, her brother. So I thought that was kind of cool that she gave her brother pretty much reins over her money. So now we're going to go on to the actual second point, which is leaders. All right, so leaders. What we have here, a few more stories, pretty short and simple. I think something that's going to be more of interest is going to be the institutions. But going on to the second point, leaders, we have Jennifer Hoyt, her little snippet. So she does bank with Lakeview. I keep hitting something behind me. Let's keep making a squeaky noise. I hate it. It's kind of like damn, I forgot what episode it was, but there's like something squeaky in some kind of TV show. I almost want to say it's SpongeBob. If I figure it out, I'm gonna post it there, just so you know. So as I was saying, Jennifer Hoyt. She was given advice, pretty much from somebody, I think it was Brandon, I don't know who his last name was, but she was given advice to pretty much about Lakeview. Like, Brandon mentioned, like, oh, Lakeview has such an amazing presence in the community. You know what you guys should do? You guys should have, like, a community in Africa or the Middle East and, like, help out over there because they have a water scarcity, a clean water scarcity. So it's like, you guys should go out there and take care of that. Which she jotted down and was like, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So, going on to the second leader, we have Michael Townsend, the CEO of the Bank of North America. Pretty much in this story, what happens is he pretty much just mentions how the bank is pretty much going downhill, how the share price is going downhill, and it's just going to shit. So that's pretty much it. And he did mention that it seemed like the company was just simply neglecting their customers. Like, they kept hearing those complaints about the astronomical fees, but they didn't care, and they just kept doing what they were doing. Now, going to the third leader, Ryan Kearney. He meets with the investor, Nora Hazelton, that one girl that dissed him about the, like, dragons thing. And I think she actually invested in them. It doesn't necessarily specify, but I'm pretty sure she did since they're meeting again in 2015. But Ryan finds out the Bank of North America is acquiring West Bank. So that bank that Michael Townsend is CEO of, he finds out that they're acquiring another bank. And it's like, what are you doing? Your customers are pretty much pissed off at you. So you think harnessing another company, another branch is going to help you pretty much be more successful, make more money, and pretty much just grow? Absolutely not. Think about your customers all the time. They're always right. I honestly kind of want to retract that statement because they're not always right, to be honest with you. That's just my personal opinion. But I'll go into that on a different day. So now we're going to go into the institutions. So you have the actual third point. So there's two institutions. There's Lakeview Bank and the Bank of North America. In this video, we're only going to talk about the Lakeview Bank. In the next episode, we're going to go in more depth with the Bank of North America. So in this this part, they have another meeting, like an executive board meeting, but it's pretty much just Jennifer Hoyt and Stanley Rusk. And it turns out that Stanley Rusk was like, Jennifer, your idea of targeting the millennials was like a genius idea because it turned out a lot better than expected. The numbers were so much better than expected, and we're succeeding in this plan. And he pretty much told her, like, we need to kind of start focusing on something else. Now, I did mention whenever they mentioned about focusing the millennial generation, what they did is they focused on the short term. Now, in this part, he's like, we should focus on the intermediate term, which is right. I don't know if I'm in frame, but and those are pretty much the needs of the millennial generation, and how the bank, the financial institution, can accommodate those needs. And it's very interesting, actually, because it's, once again, this book points out very good points about reality today. And it points out, like, how the millennial generation is, like, pursuing the freelance area and the entrepreneurial standpoint, which is really true. There's a lot more entrepreneurs today and a lot more freelance people that are doing individual work. You can kind of see a lot of people leaving that whole corporate scene to be, like, more of that, entrepreneurial role. Example right here, doing 20 pages. I don't want to be working for a company because I like to do what I want to do, and I think what my idea is like a lot more giving. I can give more doing what I want to do than instead of working for a corporate company that restricts me and doing what I have to do, and I can't provide as much value as I can while doing this. That is all I have. I had a shit ton of notes for this section. Hopefully I didn't make this video too long. I know this book has been a lot longer than usual because of how much content there is in the 20 pages, but I want to go through it all so you at least get the main picture of everything, because I don't want to be missing out stories where then there's just going to be gaps in the storyline and you won't even understand it. That is all I have for you guys. Please follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, and please subscribe on YouTube, guys. I need your guys' support. We are pretty much halfway through this book, and we're going to be going into the next book soon, which I'm super excited about. Can't really talk to you guys about that yet. However, I think I'm going to take a little break. It's probably going to be like, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days realistically, just to realign 20 pages and pretty much structure it in a way to get more of an audience. So if you see me kind of go dark for a few days, don't be surprised. But thank you guys. You guys are amazing, and thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. Be awesome!